The store-bought versus homemade battles continue, and in this episode, we're getting into ranch dressing dips, and we're getting into ranch dressing mix. Should you buy it from the packets? Should you make your own batches? We're going head to head in today's episode. I'm gonna do the ingredient and cost comparison. I'm gonna show you how to make ranch dip and how to make ranch dressing. They are different. Let's get to it. Let's take a look at the ingredients and cost breakdown for homemade ranch. I'm gonna do dressing and dip. Let's start with the dressing. This is the large bottle of dressing. This was $4.93. That's a lot of ranch. Love the easy squeeze. That is very convenient. If you're a ranch dipping family, here you go. The dry packet seasoning, you're going to mix with other ingredients. So this mix by itself is $2. That right there is shockingly expensive, I think, and you'll see why in a second. So if you're gonna make a dip, you're gonna mix 1 packet with a cup of sour cream. If you're gonna make the dressing, and all of it's on the back of the packet, but if you're gonna make a dressing, you're gonna do 3/4 cup of mayo and 3/4 cup of buttermilk. The buttermilk is what makes this taste like restaurant ranch. If you don't want that buttermilk, then just do mayo and regular milk, 3/4 cup, 3/4 cup, plus the packet. I do love a good ranch. I do love the convenience of a mix, and I actually use a different mix from Trader Joe's. So here is that one from Trader Joe's, and it is much cleaner. It's like dried buttermilk, garlic, onion, sugar, dill, pepper, green onion, chives. So this one I would say is a little bit cleaner than this one. Maltodextrin is the first ingredient. So there you have that. If you're using it from a jar like this, or even the larger ranch jar, it's 2 tablespoons for a packet's worth. So now for the homemade version, okay, let me do the cost breakdown of the dried blends. The dried blend is 2 tablespoons of parsley, a teaspoon of dill, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of garlic onion, half a teaspoon of basil, half a teaspoon of chives. Sometimes I leave out the chives, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. So all that together is gonna be right around $1. So this being $2 and that being $1, but also you're gonna get more than 2 tablespoons worth. So you're gonna get 3+ tablespoons of this dry mix. And I do normally make it in, usually I'll try to do like 3 batches at a time, 3 packets worth at a time. That way I can keep it, I just keep it in a storage container. You'll see me do that. We'll measure it into that here in a minute. The dry ingredients are gonna be cheaper for homemade, and you're mixing it with the same like mayo and buttermilk or just sour cream for the dip. So those costs are gonna be the same if you're using this. This is going to be probably ounce for ounce a little bit cheaper, but this is really more of the dressing, less of the dip. So doing the dip, it's certainly gonna be cheaper to make it homemade. And I think it just tastes fresher with the fresh, I know. We'll get there. Okay, so let's switch over and I'm gonna show you how to make the dip and how to make the, let's move over to the counter. I'm gonna mix up the dry mix, then we're gonna make a dip, and then we're gonna make a dressing. Okay, I'm gonna mix up the dry mix first, and I'm gonna do a double batch into this little, I think this might be 8 ounce. Wide mouth jar, definitely a wide mouth. So 2 tablespoons for a single batch, but I'm gonna do a double, so 4. You know what, let's do a triple batch. Dried parsley, done. Next we need 4 teaspoons of dried dill. Onion powder, 1, 2, 3. Garlic powder, 1, 2, 3. Basil is gonna be a teaspoon and a half on a triple, so half a teaspoon if you're just making a regular batch. So 1, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that, half, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of chives. Like half a teaspoon is what I would add if I was doing a single batch. My prep dish for the pepper, and I'm gonna do the same thing, 1 1/2 for the pepper. Here we have our ranch. And then we're going to mix up the dip and dressing next. I got everything else out that we need. Just gonna mix this up. To make the sour cream dip, we're gonna do a cup of sour cream, which you could buy it already, like the little 8 ounce containers. I'm just using this squeeze one because we really like the squeeze one, even though I used a lot of that. So I'm gonna do the dip in this one, and I'll just use one of my silicone lids to keep it in the fridge. And then this other one, this other container for the dressing has a lid. So 2 tablespoons of this magical homemade dry mix. And we're just going to, oops, how did I do that? I'm just gonna just fold and encourage that to get evenly through there. And there we have our homemade ranch dip. This smells amazing, and I would just like to get some carrots and some celery and just literally lick this bowl clean. So there is the dip. For the dressing, that needs to be a little bit thinner, so it has a little bit of drizzability to it. For this one, I'm gonna do 3/4 cups of mayonnaise and 3/4 cups of buttermilk. Buttermilk is gonna be what gives it that restaurant ranch flavor. You can use regular milk if you have that. So that's an oops, come on now. That's an option too. Regular milk is definitely an option. So the buttermilk, equal parts. And then I'm going to mix that together. I might need to get a whisk. There we have our drizzleable, is that a word? Drizzleable buttermilk restaurant style ranch. I'm just gonna get this really nice and smooth. Twist that and rest it. This is the larger flisk. 2 tablespoons. And I'll just keep this in this resealable jar in the pantry. Perfect. I'm gonna switch this back to the balloon whisk and then mix all of this in here. If you're in need of a new whisk, I highly recommend this flisk. It flips from balloon whisk to sauce whisk to flat whisk, so it's very handy. I use it all the time. Or if you want a second whisk, I actually have 3 whisks and I use them all kind of regularly and often at the same time. So it's nice having multiple. So here we have very drizzleable and very thick dressing and dip. Okay, there's the difference there. If you wanted to thin your dip out just a little bit, you would just add a tablespoon at a time of, I would use either buttermilk or regular milk if you wanted to get that a little bit thinned out. That's entirely up to you. We have here some of our ranch. This one's like a double. It's like dry versus dressing. So we have 2 different dry mixes. We have a big bottle of dressing. We have our homemade dry mix. Either way, you're gonna be mixing these into things as well. And we already decided that it was cheaper to do the dry mix. This is cheaper, ounce per ounce, tablespoon for tablespoon, than this mix and this mix. So this is close to $5 for this. And if I were to double this, that would be $2.50 times 2 would be $5. So pretty similar price point if I were to double this dressing using that large, using the large container of mayo and the buttermilk. Pretty good. I would say it's a fairly decent comparison. This is $1.50 other ingredients plus the dry mix of about $1. And then we have the other ingredients plus the $2 dry mix, about $2 for this dry mix, and then this bottle of $5. So cost-wise, identical. Convenience-wise, definitely easy to do a double batch of this. You're mixing up the dip already, you might as well do this. And then when you look at ingredient-wise, homemade is definitely on the cleaner side. So I'm gonna say, column for column, tally for tally, homemade is going to win. Homemade dip for sure, all the way, all day, every day. If you're a ranch dipping family, which we are not, we're a ketchup and barbecue family. I don't know why or how that became a thing, but it did. I know a lot of kids love ranch. This is definitely a great option, especially this like easy squeeze style bottle. So there you go, a convenience consideration if you're going through a lot of ranch or you want your kids to have a quick option. But if you're doing something special, a party, you wanna do like an iceberg wedge sort of salad, I would definitely go with a homemade salad dressing on that one as well. It's just going to taste fresher. Homemade wins, with the one caveat of if you're a ranch dipping family and you need this often and you use this often. Excuse me while I go and grab some carrots from the fridge because I'm going to be snacking on this. This might end up being a snacking lunch for me with this homemade dip. There you have it, homemade versus store-bought. I'm going with homemade for this one. If you've never made homemade ranch, the dry mix in a dressing or a dip like this, give me a thumbs up that you're gonna try it. Now that you see how easy it is, and you can get this guy stashed, you can get a bulk batch of ranch stashed in your pantry like I have here. Again, super easy, super fast to do, really, really great fresh flavor in the end. Also subscribe to the channel. We're releasing new videos in our Is It Really Worth It series. Are we making homemade or are we buying store-bought? I think homemade makes a lot of sense. And in this case, homemade ranch is winning for me. Let me know in the comments if you're already making ranch dressing, if you're gonna try it now, if you're gonna switch to using buttermilk so you get that restaurant style flavor in your ranch dressing. Okay, thanks for the like, thanks for the subscribe. It's bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.